beg leave to ask the question, standing in my name on the order paper.
My Lords, the United Kingdom has ratified the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and continues to press for its entry into force. We remain committed to our voluntary moratorium on nuclear test explosions, having ceased nuclear testing in 1991. The nuclear testing policy of the United States is a matter for the US government, and it would therefore be inappropriate to comment further.
My Lords, it's easy to look upon this as some sort of playground bravado by President Trump, who clearly didn't understand the implications of what it was meant by the trials of delivery systems that Putin was conducting. And then, having made his statement, President Putin wanted to show how tough he was and made his statement about doing tests again. This would be really probably quite amusing if it wasn't the fact it's so incredibly dangerous. The Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty is one of the few treaties regarding nuclear weapons that is still in existence. So many have fallen by the wayside. We are less safe than we used to be because of that. If the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty is broken, it opens a Pandora's box. All of us will be far less safe. That is extremely worrying. Does my noble friend, the Minister, I know can't say very much in response to my question, I mean that's effectively nothing, but that was wonderful, does he believe that even though something may not happen because the Department of Energy in America is unable to do a test straight away, it'll take a couple of years, it'll cost billions of dollars, so this thing may go away. Does he believe that we should be, as a government, making it very clear to the Americans, even as though you say it's their business, how much we support keeping the Test Ban Treaty in place, and that we would be very disappointed if there were any break to that?
The UK has a long-standing and important relationship with the United States, and I think it's really important to start out and to say that, as I say, on a number of occasions. The Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, as my noble friend has said, is a really successful treaty, and we continue to push and to do all we can to ensure that that Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty is as effective as it is with as many states as possible. And we look forward to everyone who signed it ratifying it in due course.
My Lords, just carrying forward that theme of treaties, we saw the PrepCom for the NPT, which is due to meet again next year, the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. We have 5 signatories. In light of what we've seen from the rhetoric of Russia, the actions that others have taken as well, what is the assessment being made of the success of the NPT meeting next May? And secondly, linked to the recent conflict we saw between India and Pakistan, what extra efforts have been made to ensure those countries also sign the NPT?
The noble Lord has a lot of experience in these matters, and he knows that there are numerous conversations that go on, numerous efforts made by numerous countries in ways that we can't often speak about in this chamber. But whether it's India and Pakistan or whether it's other countries, there are numerous debates and discussions which take place to try to ensure that we are as safe as we possibly can be. And the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, to which the noble Lord refers, will meet in New York, as he knows, next year, which I think is an important statement to see that taking place in New York. It is a really, really important treaty. We have the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty and we have the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. I think sometimes what we should do is, also, as well as recognising the difficulties and problems that they are, for states and countries like us to continue to push the importance of those treaties and to do all we can to ensure their continued success.
My Lords, would the noble Lord, the Minister, not agree that this is the latest instance of the potential use of nuclear weapons being referred to loosely by leaders of the recognised weapon states, in which President Putin gave the lead on several occasions when he spoke about it in the context of the Ukraine conflict? That is surely a lamentable change from the taboo on talking about these matters since the end of the Cold War. Would not the noble Lord the Minister think we would do better to work at the Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference next year for a reaffirmation of the view that a nuclear war must not be fought and cannot be won?
Well, I think the Noble Lord makes a really good point. And with all the questions, and certainly with my comments so far, it is extremely important that we don't let rhetoric actually cause a problem that we don't want it to cause. So I think the question that the Noble Lord has posed is a really important one, which is why I have said in my answers so far, and will say again to the Noble Lord, it is really important that we talk about the success of the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. We have not ourselves conducted a nuclear test explosion since 1991. The United States and others have conformed to that as well. And I think that the use of rhetoric, in whatever circumstance, it has to be really, people have to be really careful. Our debates and discussions on these matters are looked at and pored over. And so I take the Noble Lord's point very seriously. We need to be very careful how we discuss these matters, whilst, of course, having the right to discuss them.
Fragile conflict beset the world. In a conflict-beset world, a credible nuclear deterrent is unarguable, but macho posturing by the leaders of the United States and Russia is an alarming development that undermines the Non-Proliferation Treaty. And in response to Lord Ahmad, will the government take a lead to encourage or indeed persuade India, Pakistan and Israel to sign that treaty, reaffirm it and strengthen it and make it clear exactly what has been said? The nuclear war cannot be won and mustn't be fought.
Well, the 2 points that we encourage all states to join the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. It's been a huge vehicle by which we've worked together to try to keep the world safe. We also accept, and the government accepts, as has previous governments, as many governments across the world accept, that the nuclear deterrent is part of the security architecture of the world, and that part of having a nuclear deterrent is literally that, to deter from war, deter from aggression. And the restatement of the deterrent policy is consistent with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which the Noble Lord will know that the UK is allowed to have weapons under.
My Lords, following on what the Noble Lord, the Minister, has just been very helpfully saying, in relation to our own United Kingdom nuclear defence capability, we've seen just this week that between 400 and 500 jobs will be put at risk at the atomic weapons establishment. Now, the government claims the workforce needs to be reshaped so that it is fit for the future. But surely in a time of growing international insecurity, can the Noble Lord confirm that there will be absolutely no reduction in staffing for our nuclear weapons capability?
What I can confirm is that there will be no reduction in our capability of ensuring that the nuclear deterrent is effective and that remains 7 days a week, 365 days a year and 24 hours a day. And that is the commitment that the government makes. Just in terms of I hear what she says about the AWE, and that is looking at reshaping how that important body works. But I mean, the government has committed £31 billion to the Dreadnought programme with a £10 billion contingency. We've committed £15 billion in this Parliament to the development of a new warhead. That's a government that's committed, as the last government was, to spending billions of pounds on maintaining the credibility of our nuclear deterrent, which is essential, as I said to the in answer to the Noble Lord's question, is essential to the global security of the world.
I draw your Lordship's House attention to my entry in the Register of Interests, particularly as the Vice Chair of the Nuclear Threat Initiative, of which I am a consultant to as well. Well, as every European NATO member has ratified the 1996 Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, in addition to a commitment to Article 6, the commitment by the 5 nuclear weapon states to the CTBT was absolutely essential to the indefinite extension of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1995. My old friend Minister will be aware that former US officials who have had responsibility for their nuclear arsenal have stated publicly that new US nuclear tests are unnecessary, unwise and unwelcome. And as those officials have, has our government assessed the impact on the NPT's future if there are renewed explosive nuclear tests by any of the 5, including both the US and the UK?
Well, as I've said, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty is an essential part of the government's policy. We remain committed under that treaty to the aspiration of a nuclear-free world, which may seem a long way off at the present time, but that's the aspiration that we have. All I can say with respect to this is to reiterate again the complete commitment that the government has to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, to the meeting next year in New York. And what we want to see is, as I say, that conference being a success. But let me say to my noble friend, the UK remains an active participation in all of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty forums. I think alongside the commitment to maintain, for as long as it's necessary, our nuclear deterrent, I think the commitment we also have to that Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty is important as well. And I think that's good UK government policy.